later on there'll be more people who come to join us. As I mentioned in my message, I was disheartened seeing Mexico losing the game unfairly due to the superior acting of the Dutch player. Mexico was penalized for unfair penalty kick and lost the game. It's very sad to see that. It's unfair, but that's life. Before we talk about the agenda today is the main agenda today is to review the midterm examination. With the help of Carla, we have already finished grading your midterm examination. I'm going to present your grades, your grade distribution to you, and then I'll present some of the answers on questions that seems quite a few students miss those questions. Raman said that it was a tough game. Yes, I saw in the newspaper. Honestly speaking, because I was on the road, so I did not have a chance to watch the game myself. But I watched the scores. When I look at the commentary, the report of the game, they said initially Mexico was leading 1-0, and Mexico was dominating the game for most of the game, at least the first half. And the Dutch changed the formation, and then later on got another goal, so it's 1-1. It's unfairly at the end, this Dutch player acting very well and deceived the referee and get a penalty kick and got one more goal for Netherlands, and then Mexico got beat up. So that's life. So far there are 4 teams, Latin American teams left, and European teams, 4 teams also. So it's interesting to see. These are 2 main powers of football in the field, the Latin American and also Europe. I am of course biased toward Latin America. US lost the game already. The US lost the game already, unfortunately. But US was doing very well, exceeding expectation. So anyway, it was a tough game, as Raman mentioned. It's a tough game. So today's agenda is that we'll talk about first a current event. I sent you an article on the Brazilian currency. So we are looking at the market of foreign exchange market, how to manage foreign exchange rate. So it's timely to discuss currency. That's why I sent you that article about Bitcoin and also about Brazilian real. We may discuss a little bit and then ask your inputs on them. And after that, today we'd like to go through the exam for you, especially pinpointing the more difficult questions and let you ask me questions about the answers. I'm going to curve the grades. As I mentioned, I already tell you ahead of time, the exam is very tight in terms of time. You need to be managing your time very, very carefully. One of the reasons is that I want to differentiate students who are better prepared for the test and students who are just reading the textbook and check the answers. If they're relying on the time to look at the answers on the textbook, it'll be too late. So the design is to have just about enough time, maybe a little bit, just some minutes to spare. That's all. If you use the time to study and check the textbook, you may waste a lot of time. But I understand the time pressure. That's why I already mentioned to you, I'll try to curve the grades. This is the way that I try to differentiate the students. Okay. All right. So before we talk about the midterm examination, let's talk about the current event again, the Mexico. I'm going to share the So this is the current event discussion here. We talk about the real. This marks the 20th anniversary. I guess it's July 1st. The currency of real, which is the Brazilian currency. The World Cup is right now being held in Brazil. and that's why I chose Brazil. And then just a coincidence, there's BBC News article that talk about real, and it marks the 20th anniversary. So what's so special about real? You know that real is a relatively new currency to Brazil. Before that, what's the name of the other currency? Let me ask you these questions. I'm going back to. All right. So Carlos, could you answer my questions? Before real, what's the question? What's the currency? What's so special about real, Carlos?
Sorry, I was thinking I was on mute.
Yes.
The truth, I don't remember the former name of the real of the currency. But I think the what was so special about this change,
yes,
is because when they were coming from this very unstable economy with high volatility and very high inflation, and they pick a name like real.
yes.
It sounds like a very positive name, no?
Yeah, positive.
Real. Yeah, real. It's for real.
For real.
So it's like, quite different than the Mexico case when Mexico changed the currency and they put 3 zeros and they changed from the peso to the new peso.
Peso, yeah. They just
that one in Mexico creates a lot of mess. I remember those times that they were talking about, they are stealing us, they are taking the 3 zeros and everything. But I think in the case of Brazil, just because the name, it make a positive effect.
Yes. But Carlos, you can only fool people for a while. If you do not for real, after you're real, and then you vary a lot again, so it's no for real anymore.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
You cannot try rule 3 times. So you better stick to that and real for real. Carlos, let me ask thank you, Carlos. Thank you for joining in. Maybe I can ask Bernardo. Carlos did not give me the name. Okay, can you give me the name of the currency before real in Brazil? Do you have any idea what's the name of the currency before real? Carlos? Bernardo?
I don't know.
You don't know, okay.
The real.
Okay. How about Juanjo? Any idea? Yes.
Ramon wants to participate.
Sorry?
Ramon wants to participate.
Oh, okay, fine. Okay. How about Patricio?
Sorry.
What's the name of currency before real?
Hey, Professor, this is Ramon Soto. It was the Cruzeiro.
Exactly, Cruzeiro and Cruzado. So they keep changing name Cruzeiro and Cruzado, and because of a high inflation rate in Brazil, and sooner or later they abolish the old currency and replace the new currency. And there has been a long problem with Brazil all along, the high inflation rate. And when one country has high inflation rate, the other country has low inflation rate, then right away your products look very expensive to foreigners, so you cannot export goods. While foreign goods look very inexpensive, so import a lot. Right away you run a big trade deficit. When you big trade deficit, you got to pay. How do you pay? You drain down your international reserve, your hard currency. When you expand all your hard currency, you have no way to pay, then the only last resort is for you to devalue currency. When the devaluation comes, usually it's drastic. Such drastic devaluation really shock the economy. So high inflation rate is not good. It really discourages international trade, shocking the devaluations, to the big devaluations, and really people just do not want to invest. There's no point to invest because I invest and later on they find that after inflation I actually lose my purchasing power. Why do I invest? So whenever the Brazilians get a salary, they try to spend it quickly. So there's no long-term perspective. That really hurt the economy. But thanks to the Brazilian government, they really changed it and changed the real currency, the real, July 1st, for 20 years ago, and that they also try to have austerity measures, really control the expenditure and control the inflation rate So it has been very successful. So at least for this one, Brazil won. I don't know whether Brazil will win the World Cup this time. They have a good chance. But at least for this one, for the Real, they won already. They did pretty well. It really changed quite a bit. The Real. Any of you from Brazil, or any comments you can share with us? Essentially, the article. Yes, Carlos, go ahead.
Yeah, well, I have been working very closely with the Brazil, with our Brazil subsidiary. The first quarter of this year, I have been traveling there at least 5 or 6 weeks. So one of the things that I have seen is, it seems to me that like the real is very stable, but at the end they are very sensitive to the dollar exchange rate.
Yes, very sensitive to dollar.
All the Brazilians, they are always taking care of, oh no, right now is 2.3, 2.2, 2.25. All of them, they have that one in mind because they do a lot of shopping here. A lot. So I live in Florida, and when you go here to the shopping malls or the outlets, it's all about Brazilian. It's every Portuguese and Brazilian tourists. So my comment is just that they have in mind every day, every minute, the exchange rate.
Yeah, they're very sensitive. Thank you.
They're very sensitive.
Thank you for sharing. They're super sensitive about the exchange rate. That's good. Other people want to join in to contribute your ideas, please? How about Patricio? Can you say something? Or Anjo?
This is Ramon. Well,
nice to hear your voice.
I live in Brazil for a while, and actually I lived when the real was the parity with the dollar was 101.
Yeah.
So it was very stable by then, and the government invested a lot of money to try to get the market, the stability in the market. However, I mean, as Carlos mentioned, they are very sensitive to the global environment, and they didn't have that amount of investment, and then they changed the exchange rate for it was 3 to 1, 3 reales for $1.
Yes.
Yeah, it was about like 10 years ago, 10, 11 years ago, and then at the end of the day, they have a very strong currency. And, and the economy is very, very strong. I also work with our subsidiary in Brazil, and I mean the salary is right there, and it are higher than in the US actually.
Yeah. Thank you for your sharing, Raymond. Thank you very much. All right. Now, because sorry, Raymond, I was not able to call your name because earlier I did not scroll down, so I did not see your hand raising up. So, Carla, could you remind me when you see someone raise your hand? Let me know so that I can call them in. Okay. So, thank you for joining our discussion on Brazil. For those people who join us late, I said the agenda first. We talk about the game, the disheartening loss of the Mexican game in Mexico in the World Cup, and then we talk about the real. Essentially, the article because July 1st marked the 20th century of the Brazilian real, and they have done a very good job. And I said, at least for this one, Brazil won the game already. I don't know about the World Cup, but at least for this one, I hope that Brazil may win the World Cup. But anyway, for this one, they already won. Now, the major chunk of today's presentation is about the midterm examination. Carla mentioned to me that when grading the assignments and all this, I think most of you did a wonderful job. So thank you for paying the efforts. The whole idea as a professor, we want you to learn. You pay efforts, you learn from that, and we try to answer questions. And that's the whole purpose of the educational process. And you did your job wonderfully. So thank you for doing that. And examination in general, Most of you did pretty well. So let me show you the distribution of exam right now. This is the grade distribution of exam. The range is between 26 to 80. So I'm sorry, I reversed it. That should be maximum. This is maximum. This is minimum. So the maximum is 80. The minimum is 26. So the 26 is. The good news is it's only an outline. Most people actually is on the top end. And when we average your score, it's 64.52. 64.52. And as you know, according to the Monterey Tech grade distribution, you need to get 70 above to pass the exam. So 64.52 is a bit low. But we understand, especially some of you feel a lot of time pressure in grading. So hopefully next time you manage your time more wisely and better. And next time I'll try to give you a little more time too. But anyway, I already mentioned to you that I'm going to curve the grades. That's why you can see this is the equation of the curve. The adjusted score is equal to 100 minus 0.7 times 100 minus raw score. And that's the equation for curving your grades to help you. Can someone tell me the meaning of this curve? Can you give me an interpretation? What's the meaning of this curve? Adjusted score is equal to 100 minus 0.7 times 100 minus 4. What does it mean? So let me get back to here and ask you. Any idea what this equation means? Carlos, go ahead.
I think that the equation is normal distribution. Are you trying to consolidate the average, most of the grades close to the average?
No, this is not yeah. In fact, I should not penalize people who are at the top. So that's why I will not make them near the mean. No. I only help people. I will help people at the top, but I help the people at the lower end better, more, because these people need more help. For example, this one person got 26. I need to help him or her a lot. Those people get 80 already. I'll give some benefit, but they do not need a lot. So this is a curve. This is a curve. It's not a proportional curve. It's based on people who get high end will get less help, but who are at the lower end get a lot of help. So anybody else understand what the equation represents? Somebody else want to try? Okay. Let me tell you what it means. I'm going to share the desktop again. Okay, what it means is that for every point you lose, 100 minus 4 means the number of points you lose in the midterm examination, 100 minus 4. So for every point you lose, I only penalize 0.7, and that's the meaning. So in other words, for every point you get deducted, we give you 0.3 back. I only penalize 0.7 of every point you lose. This is what I mean. And as a result, people who are at the maximum 80, they'll get some help, but not a lot. But people at the lower end, they lost a lot of points, they'll get a lot of help. So this is the result. After the adjustment, the mean jumped to 76. It's a very big curve. You can see that on average, I have given about 12 points. 12 points difference to help you. At the maximum, Here, this is to be maximum, not minimum. They get 7 points. At the high end, you get 7 points more, 7.33. At the lower end, the minimum, it gets whatever, double, from 26 to 50. The curve is mainly to help people at the lower end. But in general, I think your performance is quite well. So any question about the exam before we go to the details, about the logistics, about other things before I show you the model answer? So a question to you. Any questions about the general area of the exam before I show you the model answer? Carla already mentioned to me, and then with her help, I pinpoint some of the questions which are frequently missed by you or the students. So we'll pinpoint those questions you tend to lose. So I'll give you the answer. Anything specific before we go on? Okay, if not, I'll just go to the model answers here. Going back to the share my Max desktop. So this is the midterm examination, the common mistakes made by students in exam. One question that quite a few people miss is question number 8, which talk about the correlation coefficients. There are two stocks, stock C and stock B. The correlation is 1.0. The standard deviation of each is 15 and 30. Okay, so you want to calculate covariance between these two stocks. So one way to calculate covariance, what is covariance? Covariance one way is actually equal to correlations times the individual standard deviation. Or put it another way, you have 1 over equal to covariance divided by 0.1500. So you flip this to this other side. What's covariance? Covariance is simply equal to the correlation between the stocks return and then the individual's stock deviation, stock return deviation, standard deviation. This is the equation. So if you apply that, since the correlation is 1, you simply multiply the two standard deviations, which is 0.045 in our method in presenting in the answer is 450. 450. Let me go through this 3 and then let you ask questions, okay? Because I don't want to keep talking. I need to see your hand at the same time I want to show the slide. So let me go through this page and then you can ask me questions. Question number 9, quite a few students also did that. Let's talk about the beta of the stock. Remember, beta represents the systematic part of the rest of the stock. Here, the beta is calculated as the correlations between the stock itself in the market and multiplied by the standard deviation of the stock B over the market return standard deviation. This is the equation. Okay. Another way to present is the covariance between stock B and market portfolio over the variance of market portfolio. This is another way to present the equation. But when you delete the standard deviation market on both sides, and this is the remaining correlation times standard deviation B over standard deviation of market. So as a result, we plug into those numbers, 0.8 times 35% over 20%. So the answer for the beta of stock B is 1.4. Answer for question number 9 is 1.4. And then question number 10. What's the beta of a security where the return is double that of the stock market and there's no correlation coefficient relative to the US stock market? And the standard deviation of the stock market is 0.18. It's supposed to be a trick question. Although you get a lot of standard deviations, as long as there's no correlation, We mentioned there's no relationship. Of course, the beta is 0, 0. What's beta after all? Beta measures the sensitivity of the stock return toward the market. Now, since this correlation is 0, whenever what happens to the market doesn't affect the stock return, so the beta is 0. Not sensitive at all. So the answer for this question is 0. So these 3 questions have to do with the diversification benefit of investment. So let me go back to you and let's see whether you have any question to ask. All right. For the first page, do you have any questions? Some students missed 1 or 2 of these questions. So do you have any question to ask me for this first page? So since I do not hear from you, I'll go ahead and go to the second page. And that's the first page. Let's go to the second page. The second page talks about another problem, which is a long problem. It's not a multiple choice anymore. It's a long problem. They talk about question number 13. There are different versions of exam, so just recognize the question number may not be the same as your version, but anyway, you can recognize the problem itself. Pacific Hygiene has $10 million invested in a long-term public bond. And the bond portfolio has annual return of 9%, while the standard deviation is 10%. A financial advisor recommends that Pacific consider investing instead index fund, which is the S&P 500 index fund. An index fund. The index has expected return of 14%, while the standard deviation is 16%. Now, suppose Percival put all the money in a combination of index fund and treasury bills. So instead of investing in this long-term corporate bonds, we're switching to the stock market. But it's not just any stock, but the market portfolio itself. S&P 500 can represent the U.S. market portfolio plus the government treasury bills. And can he thereby improve his return without changing the risk? Given that the treasury bill right now the yield is 6.5%. Now to tackle these questions, since the question asks you no change of the risk, all right. So we start with that, assuming that new portfolio has the same risk as current 10%. The 10% is the current standard deviation. All right. We know that the treasury bill doesn't have risk, 0 risk. So basically, we want to weigh to find out that what's the way we should put in, besides treasury bill, what's the way for the index fund? This is how we calculate portfolio risk, individual portion times the correlation between the two. But we know that treasury bill doesn't have risk, at least theoretically. So either the risk is 0 and also the correlation is 0. So only risk they suffer is the market portfolio, which is 16%. So plug the equations, we can find out that X2 is 62.5%. The remaining we should invest in the treasury bill, which is 37.5%. Now looking at this, then we can calculate the expected return. The portfolio return will be 0.375 and 0.065, which is the treasury rate, and then the remaining in the index fund. So you can see it's 11.19%. So we are successful. We are maintaining the same portfolio return 10%. Okay. But we got to have a return 11.19%, which significantly beat the current return we have 9%. It's 2.19% more, which is very good. You're not suffering for more risk, but you get rewarded for higher return. Good news. Now the second half of the question asks, could Pacific do better, even better, by investing equal amounts in corporate bond portfolio and index fund? So a combination of existing bond portfolio and index fund. And assuming that the correlations with the bond, which fluctuate not very much, except sometimes when we default. Okay, so the correlation is only 0.1. In that case, we can just arbitrarily assign half. Half and half with the bond gives you 9%. The other half in index fund, so it is 11.5%. Looking at the portfolio risk itself, it does have some risk, small one, 10% square, and this is correlation. The correlation coefficient is 0.515 is the weight, and this correlation coefficient is 0.1 only. All right, and this is the variance of this index funds. Altogether, we get 9.85%. So you find that the risk is reduced and actually the stock increased slightly in terms of return. Earlier, we have the return is 11.919, now it's 11.5. Earlier, 10% risk, now it's 9.85%, a slight decrease. So the answer is that for question number B, part B, is that we can do that. By combining the bond index fund, the bond portfolio, and also the index funds, we achieve slightly better return and also slightly better risk, low risk. So this is question 13. It's a longer problem. So I want to see whether you have any questions on this. Do you have any questions on this? Paula, it's nice to hear your name. Paula, do you think you answered this question correctly? Do you remember, Paula? It's a long problem. How did you do, Paula, on this question? It seems I cannot hear you, Paula.
Seems like she's speaking, but we can hear her.
Carla, you said, can I hear? I can't hear Paula.
Maybe she's not there.
Okay. Maybe I try. Carlos? Yes, go ahead.
Carlos raised his hand. Carlos,
yes, go ahead. The truth is, now that you explain it, it seems that it was pretty easy. So I don't remember. I think I have that one wrong, but
yeah, that one wrong.
Yeah. So, but now that you explain it, it's the truth is I don't have any questions. So it looks pretty easy. So.
How about Liz? Thank you, Carlos. How about Liz? Did you get the questions? Did you answer correctly, Liz?
I don't.
You don't remember? Do you think you got the right answer, Lisa? Liz?
Sorry.
Okay, no. Those people who arrived late, I mentioned to you that we understand you have some time pressure, and also it's the first time for you to take my exam, so that's why I'm curving the grades already. For every point you lose, I give you 0.3 back. So substantially improve your grade. On average, there's an improvement of about 15 points, I think. All right, let's go to the next question. So please ask me questions if you have some questions. The next question is about the WACC. Remember, after discussing the portfolio investment, we come up with the data. With the data, we can estimate the cost of equity. Now, before we apply to capital budgeting, we need to look at the discount rate. We identify the cash flows in the numerator. We try to discount the cash flows with the denominator of a discount rate. In which discount rate use is the WACC. WACC stands for weighted average cost of capital. So to apply that, we say the company has 45% financed with risk-free debt. The interest rate with the risk-free debt is 10%. While the market risk premium is 8%, the beta of the stock is 0.5. So let's calculate the WACC. Now we apply the CAPM. The CAPM for the return on equity of the stock is 10%, which is risk-free rate, plus the market risk premium of 8% times the beta. So the result is 14%. And plus with the risk-free debt. So the risk-free debt is 10%, 45% of the debt, but you can deduct the interest from your income. In a way, the government subsidizes you. So 1 minus the income tax rate times 0.45 times 10% plus the remaining due to the stock, 14%. So the WACC is 10.65%, 10.625%. Question number 22. We switch to foreign exchange market. Here we talk about forward premium discount. Now notice here, when we calculate forward premium discount, usually expressed in per annum form. The reason we express in per annum form is that we like to compare with interest rates. In the market, interest rates usually are quoted in per annum form. Now, if the two do not agree with each other, you can do arbitrage. The name of the arbitrage is called CIA, remember? It's called covered interest arbitrage. So we plug in equations to calculate. Now the foreign currency, we calculate forward premium discount of foreign currency, and the foreign currency is already in the denominator, so we do not need to take the reciprocal. So simply at 1.78 minus 1.8 divided by 1.8. So the forward rate minus spot over spot, that's the equation. Forward minus spot over spot, which is calculating the forward premium. But you need to analyze that. This is only for 3 months. 12 divided by 3, so divided by 4 times. As a result, in per annum form, the sterling is sold at a discount of 4.44%. The sterling is sold at a discount of 4.44%. Question 23. Here we talk about renminbi. Suppose 1 year ago, the renminbi is priced at 8.85. Now, renminbi, the dollar is 8.7. As renminbi devalued or revalued against the dollar, and indicate a percentage. This question is a little bit tricky because now renminbi is in the numerator, but we are asking this new currency. So remember when I mentioned in the lecture, before you apply the equation, you need to change the quotation such that the currency I call target currency, that means that the currency you're asking, put that in the denominator. In other words, per unit of that foreign currency, how much is it worth? Since our question asks you about renminbi, we should put the renminbi back in the denominator before applying the equation. Otherwise, you will make a mistake. Per renminbi, how much is it worth? So we got to take the reciprocal. 1 divided by 8.7 minus 1 over 8.85 divide the whole thing 1 over 8.85. That was the old rate, the new rate. But all this number need to take the reciprocal in order to put the renminbi in the denominator. Per unit of renminbi, how much is it worth? So the answer is 1.72%, which is our revaluation. It means the renminbi is worth more. How much more? 1.72% more. And that's the answer of question 23. So let me go back to you and ask whether you have any questions on this. We'll just present several questions on foreign exchange market. We'll calculate the forward premium discount. Before the midterm exam, we have one topic of foreign exchange market. And after the midterm, we have the foreign exchange forecasting. The next week we have the foreign exchange risk management. Foreign exchange is one of the very important areas within global finance. We spend 3 weeks on it. We first talk about market mechanism, and then we talk about how to forecast exchange rate, and then finally how to manage risk. So the question we ask here is on foreign exchange market, the premium discount, and also the change of exchange rate. As long as you apply the quotation correctly, it's really all right. It's rather straightforward. A lot of students make mistakes because they use the wrong quotation. So I wonder if you have any questions to ask me regarding the last page. We have the WACC equation. We also have the 4 premium discount equations as well as the exchange rate change equation. I wonder if you have any questions you have. Just for the fun of it, can you ask Sergio? Do you answer those questions correctly?
Good night, Dr. Wood. I think I do. I think I get them.
Yeah, good for you.
I have no questions regarding them.
That's good. So you're confident. So perhaps you get a very good grade. Thank you.
I suppose that the RMB was kind of a trick question because you have to do the inverse, but I saw it. I saw it, and I remember when you told us to have the the currency in the denominator that we are going to use.
Okay.
So I think I did.
Good.
I hope so.
Good. Thank you, Sergio.
Okay.
How about Valeria? Yes, I can hear you, Valeria. Did you get those 3 questions?
I think I get
Yeah.
remember very well. I remember I get 4.5.
Okay, good. I think you will be able to see your grades. I think you call in maybe a participate later. As I mentioned in the beginning, I heard the grades. So every point you lose, I give you 0.3 back.
Okay.
Okay, this is what I have. Okay, thank you. It seems that both Sergio and Valeria have no problem since maybe this is a rather straightforward answer, so we can go ahead and go further. The next 2 may be a little more challenging. We talk about arbitrage. So let's go. As in my tape lecture, this one is on the textbook, and in the tape lecture we talk about the CIA covered interest arbitrage. So the next 2 questions talk about arbitrage. There's 3 common types of arbitrage in the currency market. One is called location arbitrage, the other is called triangle arbitrage, the third one is called CIA covered interest arbitrage. Location arbitrage is simple, buy low, sell high. Just shop around for the same currency at different places, different locations. For example, yen is more expensive in Tokyo and less expensive in New York. So you buy yen, you buy from New York and sell in Tokyo. Simple. It's very simple, location arbitrage, which usually doesn't have to occur because it's so simple, so easy, and people can read the information quite quickly, so they can jump at that very quickly. So usually that does not appear very frequently in the market. The second one is a little bit more indirect. It's about we call triangle arbitrage. Triangle arbitrage has to do with a concept called cross rate. You cross over a weaker currency to better exchange rate. Suppose you can directly change the currency, or you go through another currency to change the currency. The 2 ways, directly change or indirectly change. Now, if the 2 ways are different, then you have an arbitrage opportunity. That arbitrage is called triangle arbitrage because it involves going through 3 currencies. All right, so let's take a look. Valeria, you have the questions? Do you have the questions? I see that Valeria, Chris. Okay, I assume there's no questions. I'll go on. All right, so here the questions talk about 3 quotes. Singaporean bank, Singapore dollar for Korean won. 714. Hong Kong quote, Singapore dollar is Hong Kong dollar 4.85. And then Korean bank quote 1 and Hong Kong dollar is 150. So assuming for the simple illustration purpose, we have no transaction cost. If that's the case, can you do an arbitrage? Let's say that you can start with 1 million Singaporean dollars. Can you do an arbitrage? So the way to do it is to check. On one hand, we already get a direct quote between Singaporean dollar and won, 714. So we can use these two numbers to calculate a cross rate, the indirect quote. I already did it for you here. So we have 150 with Hong Kong dollar times Hong Kong dollar 4.85 Singaporean dollar. The way to arrange this is that the whole purpose is to cross out Hong Kong dollar. One is in the denominator, one is in the numerator. When you arrange in this way, you can cross away, you limit the Hong Kong dollar sign, and the remaining multiply is 1. So the answer is 177.727.5 per Singapore dollar. So you can see that if you start from Singapore dollar to go to Korea to have 1, you can go this way or go this way. You can see that going this way will get you more money. So that shows you direction. On one hand, the two numbers are not the same, and so that means there's substantial arbitrage opportunity. Whenever the numbers are not the same, you have arbitrage opportunity. The next question is, where do you start? How do you do that triangle? Which directions do you employ? The key is here. You want to get one that's high. Since we start with Singaporean dollar, you want to get more. So this one gives you more, 727.5. When you give you more, it means that you need to go direct, indirect. So that means you need to go through Hong Kong dollar to get the 1. So that's why we have this foreign direction. First, we have Singaporean dollar change to Hong Kong dollar at this exchange rate of 4.85 to get us 4.85 million Hong Kong dollars. And then use this Hong Kong dollar to continue on to change 1. Okay, so 4,850 times 151 is get 12,725, 7.5, which is actually the same exchange rate. So we achieve our purpose. Going this indirect rate, we get quite a bit of 1, 727.5 million 1. Now it's time to go home to change it back to Singaporean dollar. So that's why you use this direct exchange rate, 714, and divide into that, you get 1018,907.56. As a result, you start from 1 million and you get this revenue of this one. So the arbitrage profit is significant, 18,907.56 Singaporean dollar. The triangle arbitrage, the trick, as I repeat, is twofold. First, you calculate the direct exchange rate and the cross rates and see whether they're the same. If they're not the same, then you get arbitrage opportunity. So that's the first step. The second step is to see which direction should you go. Should it be clockwise or anti-clockwise? You have to make sure the direction is right. Otherwise, if you go the wrong directions, you lose money without any risk. For sure, you're going to lose money. So here you can compare this direct rate and this is cross rate, indirect rate, and you find out the cross rate is better. That's why the answer dictates you to go through indirectly to go to Korea, Singaporean to dollar to Hong Kong and Korea, 1, and then using this to go back to Singapore, and you get the money. For me, the most critical point here is the direction, to determine the direction. So let me get back and ask me questions. Do people have any question on this? Any question on this? Sergio, go ahead and ask me questions. I see your hand raised.
Okay. I don't remember if the numbers that I have on my midterm were the same as yours, but I get that the cross rate was less than the bank rate. So in that case, even though they are different, an arbitrage would be possible because you will lose money if you have a lower cross rate or not. That's my.
Yes, you're right. As long as Sergio, you're right. As long as the two numbers are not the same, you get arbitrage opportunity for sure. It's just that the second step is to determine the direction, which way to go, clockwise or anti-clockwise. So I determined that I need to go through the cross rate first before I go back using the direct exchange rate. The two numbers show me. I don't know if you get the same pairs of numbers. Once you get the two same pairs of numbers, then the numbers will tell you which way to go. Do you think you get it?
Yes, I totally get it. Yes, it's the way you go.
Good, good.
That's what it is. Okay, so that's one bad point for me. Thank you.
Good, wonderful. How about Bernardo? You get this question right.
I think I do too.
Good, wonderful. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Hey, honestly speaking, you spend a lot of time watching the World Cup before the exam?
Yeah.
Okay.
I also think that
Okay.
I did.
It's amazing when you need to work full time, you can watch the World Cup and then you do exam very well. Amazing, Superman. All right. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Bernardo. Okay, let's go back to another question, which is the toughest of all, the CIA. CIA is very interesting. Although you cannot do a lot of CIA in the real world, but the concept is important because it is a very important principle in finance area called interest rate parity. So this is question number 25. Our arbitrager can borrow $1 million or Swiss franc $2.2 million. And given the exchange rate here, Swiss franc 2.2 per dollar, the forward rate 3 month 2.178. The 3 month interest rate is 3.5% per quarter. If you analyze it's 14%. US interest rate is 3 month 4.25. And then if you analyze it's 7%. So assuming there's no transaction cost, can you do an arbitrage? Now notice the way that we calculate this is, remember, it's F over S times 1 plus IF to see whether this expression is higher than what? 1 plus IH. Interest rate parity try to compare it this way. F times over S times 1 plus IF is what we call effective return if you invest in foreign country. And 1 plus IH is the effective return if you invest in foreign country. So you compare the two. If the two numbers are the same, it means that interest rate parity holds. There's no arbitrage opportunity. But if the left-hand side, Fs over 1 plus IF is bigger than 1 plus IH, then you should invest in foreign currency. You borrow from home, invest in foreign, and beat the market, and you have CIA. However, if Fs times 1 plus IF is smaller than 1 plus IH on the right-hand side, then you should invest in home. Borrow from foreign, invest in home. Just the other way, and you still make money. And that's the interest rate parity equation. The trick again is to how to use the equation correctly. Remember, all these quotations are in the quotations of how many home currency per unit of foreign currency. Again, we're looking at foreign currency as a target. So put the foreign currency in the denominator when you look at the quote. Otherwise, you make a mistake. Now, the question do not say which is home. You can use dollar as home or Swiss francs as home. Okay. I'm a lazy professor. Let's just say, since we already got this Swiss francs per dollar, and the dollar foreign currency, if it's foreign currency, I don't need to take a reciprocal. So I just assume Swiss franc is home. If Swiss francs is home, so the return on the home market is 1.035. 1.035. 1 plus I equals 1.035. Then we look at the foreign market. If you are investing in US as a foreign currency, here 5F over S 1 plus IF is equal to this exchange rate 2.178 divided by spot rate 2.2 times the foreign interest rate of 4.25%. As a result, if you invest in the US, in this case we assume foreign, the effective return is 3.275%, which is smaller than our 3.5% home. Buy low, sell high. So foreign market is smaller than home. Then we should borrow from the foreign market and invest in the home market, assuming home market is Switzerland. Once we determine the directions, so we borrow from foreign $1 million, charging us an interest rate of 4.25%. We convert this amount into a home currency, 2.2 million Swiss francs. We invest in the home market, 2.2 million, times 1 plus 0.035, which is the domestic interest. We get 2.277 million. On the day of investment, we already predict that we're going to have to pay back our dollar. That's why we want to sell it forward. We sell this amount forward at the forward rate already. We sell the entire amount forward, which is 2.277 million divided by 2.178 is equal to 104454 million. Getting the amount of money, then you pay back your loan 1.0425. You have net gain about $3,000. Your $3,000 is your CIA. Or if you do not want to have foreign currency, you want to pocket it in Swiss francs, home currency, you simply exchange less. And this one, if you multiply by 1.178 for rate, it's around about 6,000 something. 6,000 something Swiss francs. So the answer is that you can do a CIA top interest arbitrage, and the profit is about $3,000. But you have asked me, Dr. Kwok, suppose I want to do dollar as home country. Can I do that? The answer is yes, but you have to make sure that you use the right quotation. So you need to change this one into dollar plus Swiss francs, this one into dollar plus Swiss francs. And then when you apply the interest rate, then this home market will be 1.425. The foreign market will be 1.3035. As long as you use the right quotation, you plug the equation, you get the same decision. That is, you should borrow from dollar and invest in Swiss franc. Whether you treat dollar as home or foreign currency doesn't matter. As long as you're consistent in your quotations and plug in the equations, you'll get the same recommendation, same answer of 2955. And that's the question of conflict interest arbitrage when interest rate parity is violated. I think some of you may have been confused by the quotation. So let me ask you if you have any questions on this. This may be the most challenging questions in the case, in the midterm exam. Any questions? Is it clear to you? Patricio, you didn't get this answer?
So, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Well, I guess this topic was a little bit confusing, but after studying, I think it was clear. So I think I did right that one, but Gordon.
Okay. Is my explanation clear to you?
Yes, it was clear for me. So I hope I did the best.
Okay, good. Thank you for answering me. Raman, what do you think? Did you get the right answer? Raman?
I don't remember, Doctor. I don't remember what I get. But
You don't remember?
but the explanation is very clear.
Okay, good. Thank you. Yeah. As I mentioned, Foreign exchange market is very tricky because we involve two currency. You may be very careful for the quotations before you apply the equations. And one way to remember, whenever what currency you ask, put the currency in the denominator. You'll be right every time. We call target currency. What is the target? What's the aim of your questions? Put the currency in the denominator. If you have a foreign currency, put the foreign currency in the denominator before you apply equations. Otherwise, you'll be confused pretty easily. Other students, any questions on this part? Okay. Let's see what here. Do we have any more? So this is the cover interest arbitrage question. Right? Are there other, those are the questions kind of help me identify the questions that students seem to miss more often. So we'll just prepare that and let you see the answers. Are there other questions you think is not clear you want me to demonstrate? For the easy questions, I don't want to waste your time. You already answered correctly, so I don't need to do that. So we just identify the more frequently missed questions and then show you the answers. If other specific questions you recall, it's not clear to you, you want me to demonstrate. Seems okay, huh? All right. All right, so if that's the case, then let me go back and summarize what we talked about today. Let me change this into maximum. This is minimum. So the distribution of the grades, initially the raw scores range from 26 to 80. We really appreciate the students who get 80. It's not an easy exam. By your own effort, you already get 80, which is pretty good. You should be proud of yourself. The mean, most of the people actually go to on a higher end. At 26 is more like an outlier. Not many people got such a low grade. The average is 64.52. So then I apply this equation. For every point you lose, I give you 0.3 back. As a result, the mean you get a help about 11.5 points. And the maximum, the highest persons get 7.3 help. The lowest one get about double, 24.64 points help. It's meant to help the students who are at the lower end, so they will not just penalize just by one exam. Hopefully, these students will do better next time. Next time, I'll give you a little more time. Judging from your performance this time, I'm going to give you a little more time to work on the problems. And I also will curve the grades. Being your professor, my job is not to fail you. My job is to give you incentive to study. As long as you do a good job in studying, you learn the stuff, our mission is accomplished. So we really appreciate your efforts, and we're very happy about your performance. So this is the grade distribution. And so today we talk about equivalent BL, and then we talk about this grade distributions, and then I showed you the model answers. Just want to give you some idea of what's coming for the second half of the class. In the first of the class is mainly the domestic finance. We talk about, for example, TVM, time value of money, and how to calculate portfolio return, and then you said to talk about CAPM. The idea is to get the WACC. And using the WACC with discounted cash flows, you get a NPV, capital budgeting. And that's the domestic finance topics. And with that as the basic, we go forward. We go to foreign exchange. We have to include that foreign currency dimension. So that's why before the midterm, we have the foreign exchange market, talk about how people change currency. And this week, we talk about how to use current conditions to forecast exchange rates. And next week, we talk about how to hedge risk. This is the most important. As a corporation, how to manage risk. Currency risk is being so volatile, how to manage risk. And you need to work on the case with Lufthansa. The case is actually very simple. It's already on the blackboard. Very simple case. Just hand in the case. Basically, we talk about Lufthansa as a company, the airline. They face with a big amount of exposure. They have to buy some Boeing jets. And they need to pay in dollars, and their currency at that time is Deutsche Mark. The question is whether they should hedge or not hedge. The case is talk about the president, Mr. Runau, decided to hedge. But the board was not very happy about this outcome. That's why he was summoned to answer the board. And he was facing the danger of being fired. So my question to you is to whether you should fire Mr. Runau, who's the president. And the case at the end also gives you some questions to stimulate your thoughts. For example, should they buy Boeing? Should they buy Airbus? Or should they wait for a little while to buy? Or why do they speculate? Why does Mr. Rice speculate this way? Why don't they use auctions? So at the end of the case, you see quite a few stimulating questions for you to think, and you answer the case. I want you to write a case, an integrated case, to recommend the actions and also provide justifications. There's no perfect answer for the case because it's a court case. I'm not looking at one perfect answer. I'm looking at how you argue, how you present, how you learn the materials of the lectures and apply to the real life case. This is a real case that happens in the real life. Okay. So this is the case. So please work on that. Now, it's very important that you need to discuss on the blackboard so we can trace your discussions. Don't just work on your own and just rely on yourself and just do your own work. That will defeat the purpose of this online class. Online class already, we have the shortcoming of not being able to be live session all the time. That's why we have to encourage interaction amongst you too. So please show us that you have interaction by discussing on the blackboard, and we will give you credits based on the discussion. So please do that. Last time, the major case is this Yemi donors. Now this time is a case on how to manage foreign exchange risk. I think you'll find it very interesting. After we discuss foreign exchange management, then we'll start talking about how to raise money. We raise money in the international financing market, whether it's of debt or selling stocks. So this will be, after that, we'll talk about sourcing debt and equity internationally. And finally, we'll come back to the international capital budgeting. Now that we are investing in an overseas market, how do you do capital budgeting when you take in consideration of both currency risk and political risk? So that will wrap up the class. So you can see this is how I designed the class. Starting from the basic blocks, then include the international dimension, which is a foreign exchange dimension, and also the political risk dimension. And also try to raise money internationally to minimize the cost of capital. When all these ingredients are ready, we'll put into the pot and cook them together. Frying pan and cooking together. And the last topic, which is trying to put all these things together, is the international capital budgeting. We will talk about a case in the technical IAPV, International Arbitrage Adjusted Present Value Approach, which is another useful technique for capital budgeting. So I wonder if you have any question. I want just to tell you ahead of time what you're going to expect within the next month or so. We finish the foreign exchange, then we talk about financing, and finally we discuss international investment decision. I wonder if you guys girls have any questions to ask me. So if no questions, they all wish that in World Cup the Latin American teams beat the European teams. Which one do you football? I know that we have one student, some students from Colombia. She said we need to start supporting Colombia. So far we have Argentina, Colombia, Costa Rica, and Brazil. Which one do you football? I would like to have a Latin American team beating the European team. All right. Any questions? If not, that will be the end of today's live session. Any questions? If not, I wish you very happy. Patricia, you have a question. Please go ahead.
Yes, I have a question. When is the grades gonna be posted in the at the Blackboard? I haven't seen them already yet.
Carla, you
Yes, sure. Patricio, the on the section you always check your grades for the assignment. There's gonna be a section there for the exam. The grades are not there because of the adjustments. But as soon as Dr. send them to me, I'll do the uploading.
Yeah, I'm going to send Carla my adjustment so she will post the grades correctly.
All right, thank you.
Don't worry. Patricia is very eager to see this performance. All right. I think there's American in this class. If there's American in this class, happy July 4th. It's already July 3rd evening, and tomorrow morning is the Independence Day of USA. So happy July 4th. All right. Good night. Goodbye, and rest well. All right. Look forward to another live session with you pretty soon. Best wishes. Bye-bye.